Today we're going to be looking at some extremely entitled bosses.
Somebody help me understand this. So you mean to tell me I applied for part-time hours, you schedule me for full-time hours, but when I ask for 1 day off, you threaten to fire me? Oh, hell no!
Oh hell no indeed, you better leave immediately. Look, whenever it comes to work, if you don't have anything going on, you might as well take them extra hours, you get a bit of extra money. However, you applied for a part-time job, we're given full-time hours, and now that you want a day off, they're threatening to fire you. Honestly, I would just quit. Say goodbye to places that value less as a person and treat you like an employee with no life outside of work. Exactly, like I feel like a lot of these people forget that humans are actual humans. We all have lives, we've got friends, we've got events we like to go to. Sometimes we just want a day off. And if you're asking for 1 day off after applying for a part-time job, being given full-time hours, and they threaten to fire you, you just need to leave, because quite clearly they don't care about you. I'm very lucky where I've never ever had to deal with something like that. I've had very good managers in the past. However, some of my friends were the complete opposite.
I am so shaken up right now. I literally just had the worst experience, and this my unique trying to compose myself, but like,
oh damn, she's proper upset.
Basically, they just accused me of switching tags on items. The manager was so rude. He literally came up, put his camera right in my face to take my picture, took me to the back, threatened to ban me, call the cops, like, because tickets weren't priced right, and literally wasn't letting me explain myself, was not literally listening to me at all. I told him to watch the cameras. Literally, I spent an hour in there taking things off the shelf and putting them directly into my cart. All I was trying to do, of course I was frustrated and I was annoyed, so I'm sure I definitely had a little tude, but I was trying to compose myself and I was trying to explain myself, and this male manager was just the absolute rudest literally I've ever had to deal with. He kept cutting me off, telling me he was just gonna call the cops, ban me for life. I literally spent $600, took an hour to ring everything up. They were watching me do it the whole time. Literally, this is my
That's a big
proof.
receipt.
And after I was done, they pulled me aside, unwrapped everything that I just did, and accused me of switching tickets for items. Their store policy is that if you have more than 3 items with switch tickets, that they will like write you up and ban you for life. But literally, I did not switch a ticket. I shop here so often. I spend thousands of dollars. Like, this is my business. I'm not ripping people off. Like, he was honestly so rude, not letting me explain myself. Thank God, though, there was a female manager. It's just these men with their power trip egos. There was a female manager, thankfully, who was listening and then was talking to some employees, and then came over and was like, we know these tickets were switched, like basically was saying, we don't think it was you who did it, or I don't think it was you who did it, but these tickets were switched. Okay, again, I don't know how this is my problem. I put it in my cart and checked out. How am I supposed to check for switch tickets, question low prices? Like, no, it's a thrift store. Things should be priced low.
It's a thrift store.
So she was very kind and compassionate and just said to me, like, I'm so sorry. Well, she didn't say she was sorry, but she said, forget about what he just did. We're not going to ban you. Like, just please be more mindful, like, in the future about tickets. Which I said, that's not my job to price items. Like,
exactly.
I literally just put them in my cart.
You're a customer.
This is honestly making me question if I'm ever going to shop at my Unique again. Definitely not this one. Maybe not other ones, which is really unfortunate because this is also how I make my living. And to be accused of stealing from people when I'm literally just minding my business is absolutely absurd. So when I went to walk out, like, of course there's issues because they put sensors on everything. And I'm like struggling to walk out. Like, I'm so frustrated, on the verge of tears. And the woman came over to me and asked if I was okay, which was really nice. And then she asked me if I was going to come back. And I told her, I honestly don't know. That man was so rude and incredibly inappropriate. And she said, please come back, which I think maybe she was just realizing their mistake, or maybe realized like how much money I actually spend with them, like, which doesn't matter. But yeah, wow, that's never happened to me, and it was just honestly jarring and the worst experience ever.
I mean, put it this way, if you never go back to their shop, they're literally losing the customer spends thousands of dollars. And also keep in mind, she was a customer. She wasn't even an employee. And yet again, just to remind y'all, it's a thrift store, so the stuff isn't super expensive. It's not like the Gucci store, like the Apple store. It's a thrift store. I would have made them call the cops. Honestly, make them waste the police time. If they want to accuse you of a crime, let them waste the police time. When you read the reviews of this specific store, you will see especially about the manager sounds like he needs to be fired. Yeah, so by the looks of it, the manager does that to a lot of people. Yet again, in multiple reviews, if it's talking about that manager who's incredibly rude, you would fire him. I mean, that's the way it should go, surely. Corporates should probably read the reviews and think, oh god, you know, people are complaining about this man. Yeah, let's sack him. But as per usual, they won't, because quite clearly they don't care about the customers. And it's the fact that she left the store in tears. I mean, thank god that other woman checked up on her, but now that man needs to get sacked immediately. Did he ever take you to a separate room? Something like this happened to me once and I sued them in one. Oh my god, if you got a court case in your hand. I mean, do you want to know something? If you want to sue them, sue them. I just hope he gets dragged into it. I would have returned everything and told them to have a great day. Exactly, I would have made them scan everything, then said, actually, because of you, I'm not going to purchase anything. And then make him go and put it all back. Because yet again, she's going in there and spending lots of money. Surely if someone's spending that amount of money, she'd be fake nice to them and make them feel even more welcome, because they're literally keeping you in business. But nope, as per usual, these horrible, rude, entitled managers couldn't care less about anyone except for themselves.
I have already talked about this, but we'll talk about it again. I'm sure it was about 8,000 TikToks ago. So, when I first moved to uni, I went to drama school, right? So that is Monday to Friday, 9 till 5, about 1 million contact hours. It's not like every other uni course. And I thought that I could handle having a part-time job in amongst all of that. Turns out I could not. But I had been working for a different shop in a parent company back where I'm from. Then I moved to London. I moved to a different shop. I don't know if it's even still around anymore. It was called Warehouse. It was under the Oasis Warehouse Coast umbrella. And I worked for Oasis where I'm from. And then I moved to Warehouse up in Westfield in White City. You know how old this is now because that shop hasn't existed in years. So this was 2012. And I was shattered, right? It was Friday. I had a full day at uni and then I had work at 6 till 10. I did 6 till 10, like 2 evenings a week, and then I would work all weekend as well. And I just
That's like a lot.
couldn't do it. I just couldn't face it anymore. And I was just gonna say, look, I wasn't well at uni today. I can't come in for this 6:10. I'm really sorry. I want to make sure I'm in for my 10/7 tomorrow. I called the manager. She was an interim manager at the time. She wasn't our actual store manager because we had never had one. The whole time I was there, we never had a store manager. So this woman was on loan from another store. So I called her and I said, look, I'm not feeling very well. Bear in mind, this was the first time in my life I'd ever called in sick. I've had a job ever since I was 14. From 14 to 18, I'd never called in sick for anything. This was the first time. And this is what happened. So she says, well, have you been to the doctor? No, manager lady, I have not been to the doctor because I went to uni today and I don't feel well now. And why would you go to the doctor for feeling under the weather? What a waste of their time and resources. She said, well, Emily, if you were really sick, you would be at the doctor getting it sorted out so that you didn't continue to let people down. So I expect to see you at 6. I never set foot in that job again.
Good.
I just stopped turning up.
Obviously, people skive off work and they pretend to be sick. However, the majority of people don't. What you should have done is actually turn up and vomited everywhere. You should have made it known that you were sick. And yet again, it's the fact that you don't have a store manager, you've got one in loan. Does that sound a wee bit sketchy to anyone else? I had a home manager accuse me of lying about having IBS because I was off sick with a bad flare-up. So you've got IBS and they're accusing you of lying about it. Why would you lie about IBS? Yet again, you should have taken food to the diarrhea or just turned up and pooed everywhere. And then they'd finally know that it was real. Working in a pasta warehouse making it, I had thrown up and wanted to go home. But the manager made me sit in the canteen until I was better. I left. Good on you. I mean, sitting in the canteen, how's that going to make you feel better? If anything, getting home will make you feel better. Yet again, I feel like these people literally act like it's nothing. Like, oh, you know, you're sick, will just go away. It's like whenever you're in school, you need to go to the toilet and teacher was like, well, why didn't you go to break or lunch? I was like, because I didn't need to go then. If I needed to go then, I would have went to break at lunch. But I didn't. It's just so interesting. I feel like they always pull the same little scent from the same book. It's like, go sit in the canteen. Why didn't you go to a doctor? Why didn't you go to toilet break at lunch? And it's just like, use your brain. Like, why do you think? Because I didn't feel that way. My entitled boss almost killed me and got himself arrested and fired. I'm allergic to hand sanitizer, alcoholic wipes, generally anything that is alcohol-based products. I even bring my own soap because I can have a reaction to some soaps. I can't even drink the stuff without my lips swelling. My old boss was my cousin, so when COVID hit, I didn't really have a problem until my cousin got promoted and got transferred to a new office. Enter our new boss. We got a mass email going over our new COVID safety procedures, and one of the new procedures is that we all have to use hand sanitizer and antiseptic wipes. I sent an email to HR telling them about my allergies with medical documents. They sent back saying I don't have to use a hand sanitizer or wipes and that they put it in my file. However, when I sent the exact email to my new boss, he replied saying all employees have to follow new COVID safety procedures, no exception. But this person does have an exception. They've been given permission not to use that hand sanitizer or wipes. I'm gonna guess they could probably bring their own as well. However, this does count as an exception. When I replied that if I use those products, I will need medical assistance, he then sent me another email saying if an employee doesn't follow new COVID safety procedures correctly, they would be fired. I sent copies of the email to our union rep and HR department, to which they replied that they would talk to him and kind of told me to ignore him until he tries to actually fire me. So I go into work and my new boss is literally waiting for me at my desk with a bottle of hand sanitizer in his hand, asking me to hold out my hands. I did reply and said no thanks, I'd rather not go to hospital today. He got mad and literally grabbed my hand and squirted sanitizer on it and then ran away saying that wasn't so bad. I tried to go to the bathroom to wash it off, but he blocked me. Well, I had a bad reaction. Thank God I had an EpiPen in my desk. My boss kept saying he thought I was lying and kept saying that until I was put in the ambulance, couldn't hear him. A member of HR department and legal department came to visit me in hospital, probably making sure I don't sue. Well, you should. I'm so sorry. You should absolutely sue. They've sent him emails telling him you're allergic to it and then he's forcibly put it into your hand. That's literally attempted murder, and informed me that he was fired. The woman from HR department also said they'd call police on my behalf and I should be getting a visit from them soon. I can't talk about that as it's an ongoing investigation. Okay, so apparently it's an ongoing investigation. I hope that also turns into an ongoing lawsuit. Put it this way, this manager has literally been told that you're allergic to it. If it touches your skin, you could die, and he's forcibly put it on your skin. That man needs to get arrested, sued, and put into jail. I absolutely hate these entitled a-holes that insist that anaphylactic level allergies don't exist and kill people as a result. That a-hole needs to be jailed for attempted murder and assault with a deadly weapon, and that company needs to get sued. Like, keep in mind, they literally told him he didn't listen, so they're also to blame. And yet again, whenever it comes to allergies are so scary to me. I'm very lucky where I'm not allergic to anything. However, there's different types of allergies. Some people have allergic reaction that isn't that bad. Some people have serious ones. You know, if someone literally smells nut or comes into close contact with nuts, they could die. Like, that is so terrifying. Yet again, I don't have any allergies, so I don't know what it's like. However, imagine if you're allergic to nuts, you go out into the world, into a city center, and walk past someone who was eating nuts, and then you start having like an allergic reaction. Isn't that like terrifying? And also, I want to know what that manager was thinking. If you've been told multiple times by HR that that person's allergic to hand sanitizer and that they can't touch it or they will die, why would you forcibly put it on their skin?
I can't make up the shit that went down at my old serving job. One of my personal favorites is when we legit had to go on a hunger strike.
Okay, if you have to go on a hunger strike, something is definitely going on. Do you realize what a hunger strike is? Like, why are you going on hunger strike?
So we had two managers. The head manager gets promoted and leaves. The assistant manager becomes the new head manager. So this guy always seemed like a pretty chill dude, till he got promoted because this motherfucker was on a power trip. Throughout the serving job, I am taking double shifts all the time. And these are like 15-hour days sometimes. When you work a double, you get one 30-minute lunch break. So everyone would bring snacks to munch on when it got kind of slow. So I'd bring a Pop-Tart, an energy drink, and we had this designated corner in the back where we would all eat our food. So when evil Mr. Clean gets promoted, he's like, actually, you guys can't eat those snacks. And so I'm like, okay, we can't eat them over here or what? He's like, no, you just can't eat them in general. It just looks tacky. Looks tacky to who? We're in the back. Mind you, one of my coworkers is a pregnant 18-year-old girl. So when he makes this announcement, she goes, what about me? He goes, yeah, sorry, I don't really care. What do you mean, don't really care? She's pregnant. She's eating for two. So at this point, I'm fuming, okay? Because I saw this mother chowing down garlic bread last Tuesday. Alright, so I'm obviously throwing shade. I am not discreet when I don't like someone. He pulls me aside and he's like, oh, you don't really look well. So I'm like, oh my god, thanks for noticing. I actually feel like I'm about to faint right now. So he goes, oh, I'm sorry. You can eat in the bathroom if you want. In the bathroom? That's a bit degrading, isn't it? So I am like, this mother. One thing about me is I will always finesse the system. So I was friends with the chefs at my work, and they overheard my beef with my boss. So my one chef friend who's like 50 years old, like this is someone's dad out here, whispers like, Maddie, slides me over a fry tin. In this tin is a mini cheeseburger slider. I was like, let's go, I am hyped. So me and the chefs created a system where they would literally smuggle me food, and we had signals and everything. 2 meant cheeseburger slider, and one meant french fries. I'm going through all these hoops just to eat when I feel lightheaded, all because of my little dickhead boss. So he's making a big deal about all this, and guess what I see one Saturday night? I turn the corner to empty my dishes, and guess who's chowing down vodka pasta? Yeah, yeah. One and the only. Hypocrite. Not only was it vodka pasta, but it was leftover vodka pasta. You are musty. You are so musty. Not kidding, we locked eyes for a solid 20 seconds. Needless to say, he coincidentally decided that we could start bringing snacks again next week. I wonder why. That was most definitely not a coincidence.
All I'm gonna say is that if you're working 15 hours and only getting a 30-minute break, isn't that illegal? Like with me, if I do a 10-hour shift, I have to get 45 minutes. You're working 15 hours, double shifts, and you're only getting half an hour break. Isn't that like literally illegal? Why do managers that get promoted always go on a power trip? Because they think they're better than you. Whenever they're on the level as everyone else, you know, they act normal because they're treated exactly the same as everyone else. Whenever they get one small promotion, they completely change. They view themselves as the big guy. It's the egos. Like literally, they will look at you as if you're crap. They'll not look at you as if you're human. They'll just look at you as if you're a level below them, which makes them more important. They're higher level than you, they make more money than you, so overall they're more important. And sometimes they use that part to make your life hell. Well, anyways, guys, that's pretty that video there. That's some entitled managers. If we seem like a more entitled managers, let me know if you will. First, pick up, scrap, and see you all tomorrow for another video.